Imagine if 80% of the population had become zombies, and half of the survivors died to the zombies the next day. Food became a luxury, and water was infected. Drinking it would turn you into a zombie. You would have to try your best to survive, and that's what our MC did. The problem was, he was the last survivor. He spent months trying to find other humans, but all he could find were deformed creatures. Seeing that all that awaited him was a life of loneliness, he decided to bury himself. But again, he reborn. It was 27 days before everything started. In this life, he was going to eliminate everyone that he knew would cause trouble for him and create the biggest survivors organization. Of course, after so much loneliness, he would make sure to have an abundance of thick friends to make his room warm. He had the special ability, allowing him to open a dimensional space and keep food fresh. When he reached higher levels, he'd learn walking through the space. But now he was weak and received a call from his uncle telling him to come to the building. His uncle was mad at him because Shen Liu had 3 billion worth of shares in his business, but he had just sold everything for 1 billion. Of course he was going to do that because money was about to become useless. And with that money, he could buy a ton of pork and put everything into his dimensional space. But he knew that this uncle caused his parents' death in a car accident, but not in this life. He excused himself, saying he received a call. Someone found the dog he wanted. Even animals could awaken powers, and this dog would become the Thunder King. He knew that the dog had a missing part on his ear. He arrived at the dog meat restaurant and saw Thunder King in a cage. After some altercations with the dog's seller, he got it. He needed to have a good relationship with this dog before it awakened. Going home, he saw Su Daju, someone who helped him before he learned void traveling but died protecting him. Because of that, he would make sure that this guy enjoyed his life this time. He asked Daju if he wanted to follow him to have some fun after work, but Daju told him that he didn't do those types of practices with males. He understood Daju didn't know him yet, but that was fine. When the apocalypse started, he would help him anyway. While he was bathing Thunder King, he thought about building a base. He would get every resource that he needed and let only strong people join him. However, he needed a lot of resources to build a base, and the most crucial one was water. The majority of the water source would be polluted, and only rainwater would be safe. He was eating something with his dog when someone knocked on his door. Her name was Mayu. She was a culinary teacher that he had hired. He paid 500,000 just for some classes, and that's why she showed up. She thought that he was looking for a date with her, but seeing his face, she thought that he was attractive enough to get another girl. So why was he wasting his energy on her? After some classes, she left. He didn't know what happened to her in the apocalypse. While watching her leave, he remembered 2 girls, the sisters Mi Ling and Millie. One had the flame power, and the other had the light power. He heard that the light girl could even use revival spells. Of course, he wanted both of them in his house, so he called a spy to find them. 5 days before Doomsday, he had stored a lot of food, everything that could give him an edge in negotiations. He even bought a custom set of armor and some electric batons, one of the best weapons for the zombies in the early stages. On the last day, he bought a truck, and that night, he couldn't sleep. An hour and 20 minutes before everything, he called his uncle for a favor and went to pay him a visit. In this life, he would kill him on the first day. While he was leaving, he saw Su Daju again and told him to stay safe until 9 o'clock. His cousin and his uncle were planning something when he arrived. He pretended to know nothing and ate. Suddenly, they heard a loud sound in the maid's room. His cousin went to see, and upon opening the door, he saw that the maid was already a zombie and it killed someone. He fell back, and she rushed him. He managed to lock the door before the girl could get out, but Shen Liu just electrified him, opened the door, and told him that in this life he made dying easy. It was much more interesting to see him getting devoured alive. But that's when his uncle showed up and asked, "Shen Liu, what are you doing?" Shen Liu just used his baton once more. His cousin's back was being eaten alive. While his father was lying on the floor, he made sure that he watched everything. His uncle asked, "Why are you doing all of this?" He slapped his face and said that he knew the reason. Then he threw his uncle to the maid. The zombie rushed at him, but Shen Liu just used the baton, finished with his knife, and then removed the crystal that resided between the eyebrows. Those crystals could make you get stronger and improve your abilities. Both humans and zombies carried them. Fiery humans and red zombies carried flame crystals, but the most important for him were the transparent ones that could increase his spatial abilities. Outside the house, some zombies were already appearing, and it was the best time to start farming crystals. Since all the zombies were weak, he brought his dog inside the house. After some time, the dog started to shine, and its awakening began. Shenlu felt a headache, sat on the couch, and concentrated his powers into his hands, throwing it at the wall and creating a hole, noticing that his energy levels were really low. In the apocalypse, superhumans were classified into grades from 1 to 10. After the 10 grades, you had the King tier. When he absorbed the Thunder King's crystal, he went beyond the King tier. He then gave some tips to the dog that was able to cast a spell on a wall. After that, he went outside with his new armor. It was time to farm some crystals. He killed some zombies outside and went inside a market. Most of the people there were already dead. He grabbed everything and put it into his spatial power. After some looting, he left. He knew a warehouse that had tons of supplies, but there were a bunch of zombies blocking the way. He took the opportunity to farm even more crystals, and with his armor, it was easy to survive. His baton ran out of electricity, but he gave it to the zombie and grabbed another one from his spatial dimension. With the truck, he rushed through the door. Inside, there were hundreds of zombies. Somewhere above, some people were watching what he was doing, and they thought that he was there just to take everything from the warehouse. So they planned to rob him and take his truck. He was putting everything into his spatial dimension when a girl pulled up and thanked him for saving her. But that's when two other guys appeared and held him by the shoulder. At that moment, Thunder King left the truck, and they all got distracted by it. He took the opportunity to bring out his electric batons and knocked the two guys down. The girl got scared and begged him for her life. But Shenlu believed in gender equality, so he just asked Thunder King to finish her. Thunder King gave her a headbutt, causing her to fall to the floor, and he electrified her. Now, she was going to die to the zombies for sure. Then he grabs all the resources from the warehouse, 60,000 tons of resources. When he was leaving, a guy in the middle of the road tells him to stop the truck. He just ignores the guy, who shouts that he's going to kill him. Ken Liu doesn't like that. Anyone with any ability can be dangerous, so he orders Thunder King to kill the guy. The dog easily leaves the guy smoked, but Chen Liu tells him, "You need to finish your fights. There's no room for hesitation in this world." And then the dog bites the guy's throat. He drives back home, but in front of his house, there's a bunch of zombies. The Thunder King easily defeats them. From the balcony, Daju and a girl by his side saw him. The girl, named Chen Jin, by the side of Daju, tells him, "Don't go. This guy is crazy. He's luring the zombies here and is going to kill everyone." But Daju will not abandon his friend. So from the balcony, he calls for him, and our boy sees the girl. He doesn't seem to like her. Why did I forget about this woman? She was a burden and almost got us killed. She's a very scheming woman. In the last life, she always used Daju as an experiment. If she needed clean water, she would let him drink first. She always tried to show affection for both of us. But in this life, he will use her to show Daju that some people don't deserve to be saved. She goes for a handshake, but Thunder King attacks her. He rips her bag, from which a lot of supplies fell. He smiles, picks up a drink, and gives something to Daju, who is getting angry. She told him that she was starving because she didn't have food. Chen Jin rushes, saying, "You cannot eat this, it's mine." But Chen Lu makes her fall on the floor. She gets up crying, asking, "Why are you bullying this poor girl? You guys are not real men." But our boy doesn't care. Then he tells her that he will give her double the amount that he just ate. Seeing that situation, she knows that she can't make enemies. So she just apologizes, saying that she was scared of starving. He tells Daju that they are going to the market. He goes to his dog and tells him to bring all of the zombies in the area to his house. He grabs some garlic from his spatial dimension and says that things are about to start. He then brings all the garlic to the rooftop. He tells them that the zombies hate garlic, but that isn't true. The garlic smell lures the zombies. He tells them that they have to go to the supermarket to find more. That's when they hear a lot of zombies. Chen Jin is scared since Chen Lu has all the garlic. She thinks, "I need some of the life-saving garlic juice." The zombies are about to break the door. Our boy throws the garlic on top of his head and tells Dazu to do the same. But before he can do anything, Chen Jin grabs it and uses it on herself. Dazu, in his mind, was planning to give it to her, but the way that she used it made it clear the type of person she was. Chen Lu says, "Daju, you saw it, right? In the apocalypse, you need to be careful because some people don't deserve to be human." The girl now knows that she was set up, but Chen Lu tells her that he didn't make her use that bowl and whispers into her ears, "Let me tell you, zombies love the smell of garlic, so you're dead for sure." The girl panics, telling him that all that she wants is to live, but he's cold. He says, "Yes, but you're going to abuse the kindness of everyone, and I also want to live. So is it really wrong to sacrifice you?" He puts the armor with garlic into his spatial dimension. You don't care about her cause she's gonna die anyways. And Sudazu is a loyal friend. At the moment, she tries to seduce him, telling him that he can do whatever slimy, slick, squishy things he wants with her. But he answers saying that all he wants is her to die. That's when the zombies came running and grabbed her. Half hour later, they have killed all the zombies. But now the house is a mess. and would be nice if he could have a maid. The culinary teacher doesn't look bad, is good at cooking, and also works hard. Maybe she's still alive. That's when he pulls out some food out of his spatial powers and asks to Sudazu if he has felt anything strange with his body. That answer is that he's feeling way stronger than used to. And then Chen-Lu explains him about the powers while his dog is wiping the floor. He goes to his bed. While he thinks that he has already 42 core crystals, he makes a sword out of thin air, but unfortunately he can only keep this on for 7 seconds. But that was a skill that he learned way later, though in this life, he will get even the void passage much earlier. In the morning, he gives some armor to Sudazu, and it's time to go to the green storage. On the way there, they kill some zombies and then enter a dark room. At first glance, they saw a skeleton. Ken-Lu knows that zombies don't eat humans to the bone. It can only be rats or ants, of course, mutated ones. After walking for some time, Chen-Lu shouts to everyone, "Run." It is an infestation of mutated rats. There's even one that is the size of a cat that jumps on Chen-Lu's back and puts him on the floor. He tells Sudazu to not hesitate and start attacking. In this world, every single creature is slowly growing stronger, and some of them will skyrocket its powers. The fight is getting hard. Sudazu falls on the floor when a rat bites into his neck. Fortunately, the armor saves him. Ken-Lu notices that the situation is getting really dangerous, so he takes some meat out of his spatial dimension and throws to the rats. He now has to use his void sword, but that will cost him a lot of his energy. With a single swing, he can easily kill the Rat King and takes a big crystal from it. He asks Sudazu to take out the tooth fangs from the rat. With his extra strength, they got a Rat King fang. Ken and Liu goes to the storage and takes more resources for his spatial dimension. Then they go home, and now they will spend 3 days using those crystals to get stronger. Ken-Lu thinks that the fight with the Rat King was too dangerous. 3 days later, even Thunder King has already reached rank 2. Now our boy really feels like he needed Mayu to take care of his daily life. He remembers that she used to live on a 5-star hotel nearby, so he decides when he reaches rank 3 he will go in to find her. He goes to his bed to absorb more crystals. In last life, it took him 1 month to get to rank 3, but in this one only 3 days. With his void sword having a duration of 20 seconds, he feels safer going outside. Next day, they go to the 5-star hotel. After killing some zombies, a guy who opens a door and shouts, "Brothers, please save us," is the hotel waiter Liu Wenbo. Qianlu asks him, "Do you know Mayu?" Then, a blue-haired girl spanked her and told her to leave, explaining that they had no more space and were running out of food, necessitating her departure for the group's survival. The blonde guy approached Mayo and told her that for the sake of everyone, they had to sacrifice her. He instructed her to go out and find another place to hide. They threw her out of the room, and the zombies rushed for a bite. At that moment, Chen-Lu and Sudazu appeared, fought off the zombies, and the people inside the room became happy. The blue-haired girl thanked them, calling them her heroes and expressing gratitude for saving them. Lim Yi introduced herself, revealing her name because she was famous and hoped to get a reaction from Chen-Lu. However, he ignored her and moved to talk with Maya. He inquired why she was outside the room. Crying, she explained everything to him, recounting how she saved them, and then they threw her out. Just then, a guy showed up behind Chen-Lu and offered to pay him 200 to become his bodyguard. Sudazu slapped the guy across the face, expressing his disdain for people who betrayed those who helped them. Chen-Lu responded that he would tie up everyone. The actress fell to the floor, pleading with Chen-Lu to save her and not to tie her up. She offered to empty his family bag every day. Chen-Lu told her to get off since she was too dirty. While tying her with a rope, she begged, explaining that she hadn't showered for a few days and that her dirtiness was unavoidable, even offering to let him wash every inch of her body. Chen-Lu stuffed her mouth with a piece of cloth. When they were leaving, the guy from the hotel begged for some help. Chen-Lu handed him a metal tube and told him that if he killed 10 zombies, he could join them. The guy hesitated, and Chen-Lu took that as his answer. However, because the guy had helped him find the girl, Chen-Lu gave him 3 minutes to shop freely before escorting him back as a thank you. The guy went shopping. Chen-Lu then told Mayo that he had a problem with cooking and logistics and thought that would be a good job for her. He expressed his preference for killing zombies and guaranteed her safety. She agreed to join him, and he welcomed her to the team. After sending the guy home, they returned and celebrated. Back at home, he asked her about her abilities. She recounted that on the 3rd day, she had a headache due to extreme hunger and didn't pay much attention. He instructed her to feel the energy flowing through her body and try to manifest it. After focusing for some time, fire appeared in her palms. Ken-Lu thought it was a great ability. 1.5 hours later, the food was ready. They ate everything they could. Chen-Lu told her to take a shower, advising her to avoid letting any water get in her mouth. A few days later, after absorbing some crystals, Chen-Lu felt closer to reaching rank 4 and thought about the two sisters. He considered that it might be too early to help them, but believed that people like them should only belong to him. He and Sudaju went out to gather more crystals. Chen-Lu instructed Tamayu never to open the doors, even if someone was dying in front of her, and to close everything, avoid looking outside, and not go out. He gave her 2 batons, and she assured him not to worry. After killing some zombies, they had already collected 500 crystals. Chen-Lu told Sudaju to go back to the truck while he and Thunder King went to search for something. He found the girls' home and told Thunder King to check if anyone was living in Unity 201. Thunder King sensed something and rushed into a bush, chasing a cat. While Thunder King was biting the cat, Chen-Lu quickly heard a voice in his mind, telling the stupid dog to let it go. The cat had the ability to send its voice to other people's minds. Navi wanted the cat as a pet and instructed Thunder King to leave it alone. As he approached the cat smelled dried fish on him and asked if he had it. Chen-Lu found it strange that the cat could smell his special inventory, but didn't mind giving the cat some dried fish, thinking that if the cat ate his things, it would be his pet. Suddenly, someone shouted from the balcony, telling him to let go of her rice. It was the girl Chen-Lu had been searching for. Now he realized that this cat was her pet, which was strange because he had never heard about it in his last life. The girl came up to him, demanding her rice back, and picked up the cat. She looked at the cat and apologized, addressing it as her rice. Chen-Lu knew she had a sister, and although she wasn't present, she would never leave this girl alone. As the girl said goodbye, the cat wanted to stay with Chen-Lu, jumping out of her hands and asking for dried fish, stating it hadn't eaten any for a week. Chen-Lu told them that if they went to the supermarket with him, they could find some dried fish. Mai Lai initially didn't want to go, but her cat got angry. After some reluctance, she accepted and went back to the apartment to fetch her weapons. However, it was just a dough roller, which made Chen-Lu laugh. He then introduced her to Sudaju and his dog, surprising her with a dog that could use lightning. It seemed that not only the cat had special abilities. He talked about his ability and asked about hers. She explained that her cat could talk with people, and her abilities were like those of a healer in a video game. However, there was no time to discuss further because zombies were approaching. Meili gives them some buffs, and Chen-Lu finds impressive. She's only level 1, yet this increases 1/3 of his strength. They are fighting when one of the zombies rushes towards Meili. She says that she needs to fight some zombies. This is a good chance for her to learn how to defeat zombies. After the fight, Chen-Lu is impressed. She looks weak, but her mind is strong. Maybe she will survive until the end. Then they give her a better weapon. She bucks herself and explodes a zombie head, but she can't control herself and kept hitting it. Our boy tells her that he's died already. After that, she vomits it, and our boy gives her some water. Sometime later, they are inside a mall on the 2nd floor. He gives her a bag and tells her to fill it up, but when she was grabbing some items, something appeared behind her. When she looked back, she saw Fatty Zombie. She shouts for help, but the fatty is unstoppable. She throws her bag and tries to run, but then collides with our boy. He knows that this is a dangerous zombie. He is strong, can use charge, and even self-destruct, and it's at least a rank 3 zombie, but he's not scared. Thunder King hits him from the back. He pulls out his void sword and cuts him in 2 parts. Meili hugs him thinking he killed such a scary monster with a single strike. He's handsome and cool. Now Chen-Lu is a shining hero for her. He takes the opportunity to deepen a relationship, telling her to come with him to his house. But she says that she has to go to her home and wait for her sister. If her sister gets home and she's not there, she's gonna get really worried. But her cat is spamming her mind. Don't reject it, just leave a note at home. Go with him and go to his house, he has dried fish. She gets closer and asks, Chen-Lu, your house isn't far away, is it? He replies, of course not, baby. Come with me. At his home, she's impressed with the meal that is prepared. After eating, she tells him that she's going back home, but not on his watch. Right now, it's already dark. I think it's too dangerous for you to go home. Why you don't stay here? Even better, why me and Dazu don't go with you for your place? We can wait for your sister there. She accepts his plan. The next day, everyone arrives there. Even Mayu is with him. They were going to stay in different but close houses, but she asked to our boy, why don't we all live together? For me, it's fine if you don't feel uncomfortable. Of course, he also wanted that. Inside the house, he keeps giving her food and she's getting way too close and is already jumping on our boy. But he's thinking, such a pity. I just met her today and I cannot rush too much. Otherwise, my true colors will be revealed. After that, they divide the rooms, and Chen-Lu is going to stay in her sister's room. But he's thinking, where are we going to stay when she comes back? Never mind, let's just stay first. Then he teaches her how to use crystals. Next day, we see Mi Ling help some of her classmates to survive. She's quite fired, but she's angry at her teammates. They are holding her back. She has to do everything to save them, and her fire ability uses too much energy. After some time, she rides home. Sisters are finally reunited, but Chen Lu wants to know who are those two guys, and those guys are thinking how to lure these sisters. When Mi Ling asked her sister, "Who is this guy?" she explains that our boy took care of her, and her sister seems to believe that those guys behind are plotting something. The guy even grabs his pants saying, "Let's take her down first." They try to give her some food. She tells them that she's not hungry so they can keep it. Then everyone goes up to eat something, and Mi Ling wants to find a way to get rid of those two guys. Chen Lu enters first and tells to Mayu to prepare some rice. She finds it strange. She thought that they were going to eat barbecue. When they got up there, they see Thunder King, and they ask to our boy, "Why you have a dog? Food is rare. How are you keeping this dog?" Our boy tells them that he is giving rice to the dog. Both of the guys got angry. "What? You're wasting food with a dog?" Then they says to Mi Ling that they should get rid of that guy. But Mi Ling tells to them, "Shut up," and says, "You don't think that I know why you guys followed me? How much you guys have done?" They reply saying, "Just you wait. You guys are going to regret it." But our boy just pets Thunder King head and tells him, "Kill them." And the dog goes all happy. Mi Ling finds it strange why the dog is following them. He is seeking for death. Then we see a conversation that he had before with Meili. After putting some pressure on her, he asks her, "Between me and your sister, who is the best leader to create a better life?" Meili answers, saying, "That's of course him." And he tells her, "So you'll have to talk to your sister first." Meili told him that she was sure that her sister would obey him, but he tells her he will not share his supplies with her until he is 100% sure that she is going to obey him. This is for her own good. When Mi Ling goes to the kitchen and sees Mayu cooking, she thinks that she's wasting way too much food, but Mayu tells her that she's just following Chen Lu. Angry, Mi Ling goes to talk with him. "Chen Lu, why Mayu is cooking so much food? We're not going to have anything to eat tomorrow." Chen Lu tells her it's a celebration now that you are reunited with your sister. Mi Ling tells him that it's too much. He should say something. He tells her it's mine, so don't worry about it. When she looks to the table, she sees 4 bottles of water. She thinks, why only 4? Okay, I don't think I'll have something to drink. I will just eat some vegetables and I'll drink some soup. But when she sits in the table, Chen Lu asks her, "What are you doing here?" She replies, "Doing the same as you." Her sister apologies in her thoughts. "I'm sorry, sister, but Chen Lu is a kind person. It's for your better. Be patient with him, please." Chen Lu tells her we're about to eat. "I don't think you should be here. Of course, if you just want to watch, you can sit here." She asks, "What is the meaning of this?" "There's nothing for me. Didn't you say that was to celebrate the reunion with my sister?" He tells her, "I didn't promise to take you with us. Only my people can eat something that I risk my life to take." He looks to Meili. "Are you my people, Meili?" She says, "Yeah, everyone in the room supports him, even the dog and the cat." Then he asked her, "Do you want to eat with me? If you want to just say that you're going to obey me." But Meili gets angry. "Chen Lu, why are you trying to humiliate me?" She stands saying that she's not going to eat any of his food and tells them, "I want you all to go back to your house. Leave this place." But when she goes to her bedroom, even his underpants are there. "Sister, why you let a smelly man into my room?" Her sister tells her, "Don't worry, he's a gentleman. He's just going to stay here for some time." Meili doesn't want to allow him to stay here because he took care of her sister for some time. She's going to allow it. Taking a shower, she's feeling alone. "How you could take my sister with food? But that's fine, Chen Lu. We're going to see who had the last laugh." Outside, they're talking about eating her favorite fruit grapes, and that makes her think, "Damn, I really want it. No, I don't want it. It's been so many days those grapes must be frozen. They're not fresh or delicious, I'm sure." When she goes to talk with her sister, Chen Lu thinks her figure is fire. She can awaken something in any guy. When she's leaving, he tells her, "Meili, come back quickly. Those grapes are so sweet. I'll save some of them for you." She looks back and thinks he's doing this on purpose. In her room, she grabs her sister. "You teamed up with that stranger. Are you trying to make me angry?" Then she tickles her, and Meili explains that Chen Lu is the better captain and tells to her sister that it's all part of his plan. Her sister thinks that she's brainwashed. She would have no problem following him, but she has to resort to such low-level methods. "He really believes he can win me over with just some meals. If he wants me, he has to show his strength, so I am going to fight him." Then she gets up and leaves the house. She declares that she's not going to use food and sets off to search for something. Meili asks our boy to stop her sister, but he tells her he has no reason to stop her. Meili asks if she can go with her sister to help. He responds, "Of course you can go with your sister. Just remember to be safe." He ponders if he shouldn't use such a playful method to deal with her, but in his past life, she wasn't easy to handle. 10 minutes later, she returns with some beef noodles, and he shouts to Mayu to prepare some as well. He explains to Mi-ling that in 3 days they will fight. If he wins, she must obey him. If he loses, she can command him as much as she wants. Mi-ling questions why they need to wait 3 days and suggests they fight now. He tells her his powers are out of control, but the real reason is that he is about to reach level 4. He adds that he thinks she would lose to Thunder King. She retorts, "Are you crazy? You're saying I'm going to lose to a dog?" He insists he's joking, but suddenly Thunder King growls at the door. Someone outside calls, Mi-ling, are you at home? Please open the door." Mi-ling, I saw you coming back. Give me something to eat. I haven't eaten for 2 days. Mi-ling goes to the door and tells the lady, "I don't have anything to eat either. Go away." She looks at her sister and says, "Mi-ling, remember, no matter how much we give her, she will finish everything in 1 day. The world now is like that. The fittest will survive." Chen-Lu says, "This is exactly the new order of this planet." She tells him to cut the crap, saying that in 3 days he will also learn his lesson. The cat warns Chen-Lu that the person at the door is malicious. Outside the door, the old lady is saying, "I had no idea that this kid could be so vicious." Some guys behind her ask what happened. Is Mi-ling not at home? She answers, "She's at home, she just talked to me." The old lady is inciting all the guys to get in the house. Millie and Millie are such cute sisters. I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy her plumpy bodies. The guys agree, saying it's worth dying to have some fun with them. A figure like that shouldn't be wasted. They grab some weapons. Let's go. It's time to open this. In the other room, Sudazu sees everything and tells everyone that some people with weapons are coming to hear. Chen-Lu tells the Sudazu to go down and kill everyone. Just don't do it in the corridor, or they will have to clean it up. Then he receives a buff from Millie, while she looks at Chen-Lu thinking that he's handsome, but she wants to know how strong he is. Sudazu is down there and Thunder King goes to help him. He easily defeats those guys, since their attacks have no effect on him. After the guys are dead, he tells to Millie, "Go there and take their crystals. You have to remove from their foreheads." She's insecure and doesn't want to do, but he explains, "Even though you are a support, something that you must experience yourself." Her sister agrees with him. "It's better for you to get familiar with it. The earlier the better." Then together they go down there. She's sobbing, but she does the job. But of course she vomits again. Back home, the beef noodle is ready and Millie is impressed. How can they have so much? There's more beef than noodles in that soap than probably in the whole city. Millie cannot hold herself. Pancakes smell. Okan jealous, but I know the size of my fridge. They are probably about to run out of food. At night, the same thing again. A banquet for everyone. She keeps asking herself how many dishes they are going to prepare. She runs to the fridge, opens the door, and it's full. She goes to Chen-Lu, shouting and saying, "The fridge is full again. When did you go out? I couldn't find fresh food." That's when Millie explains to her, Chen-Lu is a voidability user. He can stock food for as many years as he wants. Mi-ling asks, "Why didn't you say earlier?" Her sister says that she forgot. Then she looks at Chen-Lu and says, "Just don't forget our agreement. We are going to fight and you will listen to me. And after I defeat you, I will make you kneel down and you call me sister and give me all the food that you have."